Welcome to This Is. We have a pair of AirPods on the desk. Can you spot them? They're slightly larger than normal AirPods. They're maximum strength.
Not quite. Not quite at all. No, so at least maybe Apple wants you to sell you on that, but obviously these have been getting a lot of buzz recently because they are retailing for a whopping $550, ladies and gentlemen.
That's like a PS5 and
a game, or
Actually,
no,
no.
not a no, a control,
No.
a controller.
no, controls more.
Oh yeah, no.
These are the brand new AirPods Max. So neither of us have tried these at all yet. So this is gonna be our first impressions of what seem to be some of the hottest headphones. That
That looks like an Apple product.
wow, that band.
Oh.
Feel the band.
Oh, I love that mesh though.
So that 3 seconds in feels like it's gonna rip. I don't know if that's the case.
No, I don't think so. I have a little more faith in this than probably you do, to be fair, but it does look like it. But the thing is that like this feels like the mesh that you would have on like a back of a chair, maybe just slightly softer. But at the very least, for comfort level, I can see why this is so soft. Where do we want to start?
I don't know. I mean,
that.
I hate that.
it's a case that comes with the box, right? You can't complain about something that comes with the. Okay, we're just gonna set that aside.
Okay. Now,
wait, what? What is this?
they're just protectors for the. Okay, look, you're spending $550.
I thought that they were white.
No, it's not two-tone, Austin. Though I think you appreciate this more, don't you? With just the straight.
You can swap them out though. I know you can buy the other. So these are all magnetic.
Yes, you can buy all the
swap these
cover.
out.
Oh wow, that comes off way easier than I thought.
Yeah.
These actually look and feel better in person than I had thought. I could see where Apple specifically, not anyone else, why Apple specifically would charge a premium for this.
Okay, there's a lot to talk about with the AirPods Max, not the least of which is the PS5 plus 10% price. However, let's put the price aside for a second. Let's go into this with an open mind together as a big happy family who are of course already subscribed to This Is and have rung the ding-a-ling bell. And let's take a look at the AirPods Max for what they are, which are a pair of Bluetooth headphones. So we have the Mega watch,
the digital crown.
Yep. I will immediately say I'm gonna like that because I hate the stupid touch controls.
Oh my god, we'll get to that in a second.
That noise cancellation is nuts town. Holy, wait, hang on, wait, talk?
Test. Hi.
I can hear
Hey
you.
guys, this is Austin.
Wait, keep talking.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ken. Welcome to the YouTube channel This Is, where all stuff happens, including
nuts. So it sounds like my head is in like a box or something. Now, Matt, I know Matt was concerned because I know for some people, when it comes to active noise cancellation, you get that sort of like that pressure feeling.
Right.
I get that with these. Throw those on and see. It feels like there's like almost something kind of pushing on my eardrums.
Right, so
it's aggressive.
So for context, we have listened to a lot of over-ear active noise canceling headphones. The ones that we've tried specifically most recently are the 1000X Mark IVs from Sony that
Phenomenal.
we tried on Mystery Tech actually for my birthday in September. And that's what I'm gonna probably compare these to. Those are the ones that I feel like a lot of people use right now in the market. At least the chimes that you hear and all of the sounds and whatnot are very similar to what you get with the AirPods Pros when you switch between that active noise canceling. Let me hit the button again.
Hello, I am talking to you right now. Move your head around and hear how different it is. You almost hear like the 3D space as it cuts my voice out from different sides, right?
A little bit. I'd say that these aren't as aggressive as the Mark IVs though.
The Mark IVs, in my opinion, are too aggressive. They
actually feel like they're like sucking your ears out. Like that's
really
how
loud right
aggressive.
You're really loud right now.
I mean, active noise canceling. Gotta have to. I think that this is a right balance. It's very similar to what you get out of the AirPods Pros.
Wait, I need a white noise generator. Hang on. Let's
have?
test this.
You are a white noise.
Wait, is that racist?
Hilarious.
Is that racist?
Today on,
Wait.
is it racist?
I can definitely hear it, but when I play music, which I haven't done the syncing yet for this, it would probably cancel out at around like 30% volume, I feel like. I kind of felt this with the Samsung Galaxy Beans Live, and it almost makes everything around you sound bassier.
I do think the aesthetics and the comfort, which to me feels pretty decent.
Right.
Let's try the headphones connected to an iPhone We can try the spatial audio, but let's just see how these things sound.
So it is cool that the AirPods Max shows up on the phone, as would any other pair of AirPods, right? But they show up with the exact color that you have. So noise control, all of this is pretty much the same as AirPods Pro.
Ken is definitely gonna go deaf one day if he's not already like 80% there.
Okay.
There we go. All right. I teed you in. Go ahead. Hit us with the hot take.
The problem that I'm having is that it's hard to compare these with the Sony because they sound different.
Okay, that's fine.
So the Sonys are bass heavy. I think like that helps with travel. It helps to drown out a lot of like noises that you'd hear on, say, like an airplane or on a train, right? These do a great job of canceling out, voices around you, which I think it does a better job of doing that than the Sonys. If you don't like bass heavy, if you want something, these are not neutral. To be fair, these are a little more V-shaped. These have really good highs and really good bass, but it's not thumping your ear.
Okay.
So while it doesn't sound as warm, I do like the way that these sound. I just don't know detail-wise if we're losing anything, if it's any better, but at least in terms of signature, they're definitely different, and I think they sound good. $550 is still a lot of money for headphones.
All right, hook me up.
Yeah, go for it.
Hotel California.
Oh, classic.
My classic headphone testing song. Oh, I like
wait.
that. I like that.
Whoa, wait. What is happening here? What's happening here? What is that?
I'm using the crown.
Oh! I can actually hear a little bit of bleed, but it's not as bad as I would have thought for where are we at? We are currently at 95 to 100%.
Everything about them is good, is decent, is solid. I don't have any like superfluous like, oh my God, I can't believe it's just like, oh, that's a good sounding pair of headphones.
So now let's talk about a little bit of the more abstract things. Well, more abstract for us. For
Sure.
Apple, it's not. Build quality, name, aesthetics.
Build quality
right?
is very solid with a couple of questions. Obviously, this is day one. How these hold up over months, especially with the carrying case that it comes with, I'm a little questioning because so this I assume is aluminum, right?
That feels totally fine. If you throw this in a bag with other things, maybe your keys, you might start to see some dings.
Yeah.
There's also these stainless steel parts right here,
Looks
right,
well
for
built.
the band. It looks well built, but at least in my experience with using stainless steel stuff on Apple products, like say my iPhone 12 Pro Max,
Flex.
I've been getting scratching on the bottom. So
Yeah.
that can also, I would assume, if it's the same kind of coating and whatnot, that'll probably be prone to scratching as well. Obviously, again, we talked about the top mesh, which is probably the softest bit. This can probably get pinched by some things. If you have like pins or keys or something that hit these, they might start to fray a little bit. There's quality stuff that we won't be able to tell right now because they're new, but down the line.
I mean, I will say these are the nicest pair of headphones under like several $1,000s I've ever touched, right?
Yes.
Everything about them feels premium, feels very high quality between
Apple's
the
good at
aluminum.
that. Like material design, right? Like
Absolutely.
we know where their strengths are at.
Yeah.
But as I'm sure a lot of people will say, and I have to kind of talk about this for someone that appreciates Apple material design, I have to even talk about this. I don't think it's worth the extra money over competitors just for that.
The AirPods Max are clearly good, but for less money than this, you could buy a pair of 1000X Mark IVs and a pair of AirPods Pros. That is such a better overall setup.
I
Because
agree.
for me, and this is again very much speaking personally, I much prefer the idea of having a small pair of Bluetooth earbuds in my pocket at all times. These would be great if I was on a plane, if I was sitting down and doing this kind of stuff for extended periods of time.
At $550, this is very obviously a luxury product. It's a luxury
Yeah.
tech product.
Yeah.
More than it is, an actual utility that say AirPods Pro and 1000X Mark IVs could serve you, right?
I don't think anyone who purchases these are going to be disappointed, right? I mean,
You know what you're going into.
They do what they say, right? They don't promise that they're the greatest sounding headphones in the world. They don't promise that they're the most expensive or the cheapest or anything like that. They promise that they bring all of the advantages of AirPods, great noise cancellation, certainly better than the actual AirPods.
Absolutely.
Great noise cancellation, good sound, great build quality, all that kind of stuff to you, right? I mean, they do what they say on the 10. I guess where I'm kind of a little hung up on them is that it feels like it's almost a little bit of a middle ground. They charged a lot more than other headphones that are very similar in pretty much all aspects. But if they would have been able to push the envelope, like if they sounded 5% better, I think it would be able to be justified. To me though, I do prefer the sound of these over the 1000X Mark IVs, but by a very small
Yeah,
percentage.
I would I'm very light in saying that, like, I prefer this you know, the sound of these versus the 1000X Mark IVs in the sense of like sound signature and whatnot. Like, I don't think that is worth the difference of $200.
I want to listen to something with the spatial audio, because that is one of the main selling points that you obviously get with like standard AirPods, but also with the AirPods Max, I think it might be better.
I wonder if that would be a killer feature for this, actually.
Let's try it out. So if you're not familiar, AirPods Pro actually, in a software update not too long ago, included spatial audio, which essentially virtualizes like a 5.1 surround sound setup. So essentially it like can detect where your phone is and where the actual headphones are. And as you move around the space, you should be able to hear the music or the sound all around you.
So for context, Austin right now is listening to Disney Plus Mandalorian Episode 1 on the AirPods AirPods Max with the spatial audio enabled. So right now he's moving his head. He's trying to get a sense of, you know, where the audio is in his space. Apparently, I mean, judging from his face, it looks like it's working. So
that's pretty impressive. I've actually not spent a lot of time with spatial audio on the AirPods Pros. Just give that a try. Essentially, they take any kind of surround sound, 5.1 and up. I think it goes all the way up to Dolby Atmos.
I haven't tried this with the AirPods Pros, to be fair. Like, I haven't gotten the full immersion. I don't have Disney Plus. I only watch stuff on like Netflix and stuff that don't have spatial audio. That is really good.
Yeah. That, I think, is the key feature here. These are almost more so better suited for things like movies, for things like TV shows, right?
Did they just make these headphones? Oh, wow, I am really loud.
You are really loud.
Did they just make these headphones for Mandalorian Episode 1? Look, again, this is gonna sound really fanboy, and I am to a degree a fanboy, but like I want to try to approach these with some kind of a reasonable mentality, right? That's a really good demo.
Yeah.
That's a really good demo. I don't know how realistically you would be using this all the time, but if you're watching like things like Disney Plus on your phone, like in bed and stuff, like that's.
They're built well. They sound good for most purposes, and with the spatial audio, that is a game changer. But realistically, let's just take a half step back here.
Yeah.
How often do you listen to a movie or TV show with full surround sound and headphones on a 4-inch phone or 5-inch phone?
But if that is you though, or on an iPad too. But if that is you though, and you try these in a store, I can see why someone would be sold on these. Like, you go to an Apple store, pick these up, and do the spatial audio demo that maybe the Apple sales rep will pull up the best example of it, right? Maybe they'll pull up the Mandalorian Episode 1. That would have sold me on the headphones right there. Like, for me personally, I'm not saying that's for you, maybe not even for you. I mean, though you had a good time. Maybe for Matt over there, he's a little more judgmental.
No way am I spending that much money on it.
I'll say I'm impressed by that.
So what do you think? Are the AirPods Max worth the $550? Or would you rather have a pair of 1000X Mark IVs and an AirPod Pro or a PS5? Let us know. Make sure, again, to ring-a-ling, ding-ding the button and subscribe to This Is for the latest and greatest in Ken's audio adventures.